Good day. My name is Tim Seeley, and we've made the journey to week 8 in the Practices of Leadership class. And as with anything that is read, studied, and learned, there should be something that is taken away and applied. I'm grateful to each one of you in the class for your participation and interaction with me. I've been challenged and given the opportunity to think and to examine my leadership, which I trust has been beneficial to me and to each one of you as well. Also, thank you, Professor Asplund, for your input and guidance through this class. It's been a real joy to be in this class. On this journey of leadership, I believe I still have a long way to go and was encouraged by this class and the lessons gleaned from each week. There have been things that were familiar and things that I've heard before, but there were also things that were new and things that were stated in a way that because of the way they were stated, it made sense and was synthesized better for me. First, I thoroughly enjoyed the book Multipliers. This book put into words and helped me further my understanding of being a disciple and how I can better lead people to be all that they can be through using their gifts and abilities for the Lord. Each staff or employee wants to be valued and appreciated and given the opportunity to participate in the mission of the organization. I've grown over the years, and as the book labeled the things that multipliers do, I can see where I have been and where I need to go to be a better multiplier and less of a diminisher. Second, the Garda book was helpful to bring leadership back to the basics of what serving and how that interaction with others really is, whether volunteers or staff, impact ministry, and with the cause of the gospel as well. That first story of how Edward Kimball humbly served as a Sunday school teacher and impacted the lives of millions of people was really impactful to me. His faithfulness and humble service to do what God had called him to do is a great example for me to understand that God uses people through normal interactions and relationships. And those relationships may seem trite, but in light of eternity, we'll never know the full story as that story lived out. The founder of our ministry has a saying which was very applicable and says a lot about serving. He has a saying, it says, just show up. Now, just showing up is not all that is needed to impact others, because just being somewhere does not make us an impact. We also need to be mindful of our interactions, what we say and do, and how they affect others. We need to be purposeful in those things we say and do, and how they affect our interactions. Being self-aware is a huge step in our growth to becoming multipliers. To mention, I know I have a long way to go, but feel that I have more traits of a multiplier than a diminisher. In my growth, this class has had some highlights and also some key lessons on leadership that I've learned. Along with going over them, I would also like to express a large takeaway that I had from taking this class. First, some of the highlights has been the interaction and input of each one of you. I've been challenged and given pause to think about some of the things that and were able to help me in progressing in my leadership abilities. I believe that both the books were a highlight and were offering great perspectives on leadership. The community posts were a highlight as well, with two in particular, the two assignments that had the leadership books post. They were very great to help in practical and potential reading. And then the training videos that could be used for staff. That was most helpful as well. Overall, I believe this class has been one of the best that I've taken thus far, with both information and practical application of what was learned. Leadership is not only learning, but it requires us to do the practical applications, as well as the takeaways and some of the lessons. So one lesson that I have gotten is there's a sidelight really to this class, and that is in development, the need to develop trust in those that you lead. Now, each one of the 5 disciplines have aspects of developing trust by giving the individual buy-in and a say in not only the place that they're working or serving, but in the bigger picture of the organization and how they fit into that picture. Most organizations have a mission and vision, but if the person does not see that and what they are doing is valuable and is making an impact, it just seems like it's just a job. By seeing their value and what they bring to the organization as valued, they will be all in and give it their best each and every day. This class has brought out some areas that I need to work on, and specifically the first discipline of being a talent magnet. I feel that I'm a good encourager and appreciate people's input, but also feel that I need to get better at uncovering the people I work with's native genius. At this time, it seems like most of our staff is just going through the motions and have really not uncovered who God has made them to be. I get glimpses now and then, but need to be more purposeful in engaging them and helping them to see their value to the organization and also the value that they can bring to the world at large through their gifts and talents. I believe I'm a good liberator because I do allow the staff to run with things as long as they have a clear understanding of their roles and responsibilities. I do not feel it's helpful to micromanage them. I also feel that I'm growing in being a challenger. I've been getting a blog post from a gentleman by the name of Bob Teague, who has an organization called Leading with Questions. It has been a help as I've grown in my leadership because I'm finding that self-discovery is a great tool for people to grow. It's a tool that can guide them to figure things out on their own, which will really go a lot further in how they make decisions and process things as they grow in their leadership and how they can benefit an organization or the organization where they're at. Being a debate maker can be a challenge depending on how it is approached and the people that it affects. Unfortunately, some of the organizations that I've been involved in have not been exceptionally healthy and good at this. There have been issues of both spiritual and verbal abuse. Figuring out how to spark debate can be a challenge in organizations like this. Becoming a debate maker requires the leader to ask the hard questions. You need to ask for data and ask for each person's input and value that input. I'm growing in deciphering the right hard questions to ask and the phrasing to ask it in. I think as I've grown in this area, it has been an area that has been helpful in organizations that lead with power and don't allow for debate. Is giving me an opportunity for growth by figuring out those right questions and those hard questions. And it has also been a huge boost in seeing those organizations become healthier and to grow in greater unity and in Christ likeness. Growing in leadership requires growth. In being an investor, this is probably the area that I've been stretched the most in through this class. Currently, we do not have an executive director, so I've been forced into fulfilling that role without the full authority of the position. This has created some challenges in being an investor, but where I believe I have shown my willingness to pour back into the ministry and to do these things. The first practice of being an investor is defining ownership, and I've been willing to have those hard conversations and to help the staff take ownership of their areas. I also feel that I've been there to teach and coach them along the way. Finally, the practice of holding them accountable has been a way for them to take ownership, but expecting them to do great work as well. Now, looking at all the disciplines, I feel that communicating and modeling what it means to be a multiplier and do the things as unto the Lord is a key. Now, the heart of a multiplier includes all these disciplines, but most of all, valuing them as individuals, setting out the boundaries of their area of service and giving them the opportunity to run and do their job, but making sure that I'm guiding and helping them in their roles and responsibilities. One main takeaway for me has been to guide my thinking and has given me some new insights into the direction of my life. I've always had a heart for people and to see them succeed and disciple them, but learning what it means to be a multiplier has helped me to see that I have really a heart to disciple people, and I'm looking into coaching. Now, the questions that this class has brought to me has given me an appreciation of how others can spur us on by those questions and helping us, challenging us, and to open up thoughts and clarify our thinking about through those interactions. Now, a phrase that came up that was helpful as I was thinking about this is to get unstuck through the questions in this class and learning to be a multiplier. God is doing some amazing things, and as I look forward to finishing school and accomplishing other goals, I pray that God will use me in a greater and mightier way to bring Him glory and honor. I want to thank each and every one of you for your input and interaction during this class. I do pray that God will richly bless each one of you as you pursue Him and live out your lives in light of eternity. in light of eternity, in power, grace, and love of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you.